It was an extremely eventful week for the Minnesota Twins, who lost Royce Lewis to another significant injury and saw top prospect Brooks Lee burst onto the scene in his stead. But somehow, Jose Miranda's historical hitting clinic managed to overshadow it all. It's Miranda Mania. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Twins Daily Week in Review podcast. We are bringing you everything you need to know about the last 7 days of Minnesota Twins action in about 20 minutes or so every Sunday evening. My name is Nick Nelson. I am the host of the show, also the author of the Week in Review column that appears every Sunday night in corresponding fashion on twinsdaily.com. We invite you to come by the site and share your thoughts in the comments. But let's get to it. As I mentioned, plenty to cover from the past week for the Twins. Our weekly snapshot for Monday, July 1st through Sunday, July 7th. Twins going 4-2, another winning week to improve their overall record on the season to 51-39, a season high 12 games over 500 with a week left to go until the All-Star break. Run differential last week was plus 10. Twins have outscored their opponents by 51 runs on the season now. Still in second place in the American League Central, 6 games behind the Guardians. They were not able to gain any ground despite winning both their series at Target Field this past week. The Guardians refused to relent, basically going punch for punch with the Twins right now. But Minnesota keeping their eye on their own bobber and doing just a fine job with that. Let's take a quick look at the game results from the past week. On Tuesday, Twins opening up their series against the Tigers with a 5-3 victory. Royce Lewis delivering a big hit, but going down with an injury in that game, sort of a downer. The next day, Twins were thoroughly defeated by the Detroit Tigers, a 9-2 loss. David Festa once again struggling in that one. Brooks Lee making his major league debut. And then Twins closing out that series against the Tigers on Thursday with a 12-3 victory in a 7-inning official game. A blowout win that was played under some pretty steady rain that got increasingly heavy as the game went on. As mentioned, that one was called after 7 innings complete. Opener of the Houston series at Target Field on Friday night. A pretty crazy game. Twins falling behind by a lot, making a late, ferocious comeback, scoring 7 runs in the bottom of the ninth, losing 13-12 by just 1 run. Came back the next day on Saturday with a emphatic 9-3 victory. Jose Miranda making MLB history in that win, as we'll discuss shortly. And then on Sunday, the Twins closed out the week by clinching the series. Christian Vasquez with a big walk-off home run as the Twins win 3-2. So let's dive into some of the news and notes from the past week. Is a classic monkey's paw moment. The Twins got their wish to see red-hot top prospect Brooks Lee reach the big league stage at the expense of Royce Lewis. A right adductor strain suffered on Tuesday while running the bases will likely sideline Royce Lewis for at least a month, with the Twins saying that they plan to reevaluate him after the All-Star break. At this point, it's a grade 2 strain. Noteworthy that is the same severity level, grade 1, 2, 3, as the quad strain that knocked him out for 2 months. It does sound like everyone seems to believe this is a less severe injury than that, but would not expect to see Lewis before August, personally. The silver lining of that situation is real, though. Brooks Lee is now in the majors, and it wasted no time flashing his hitting talents on the big league stage. In his MLB debut on Wednesday night, Brooks Lee notched a pair of hits, both singles, back up the middle, and he kept it rolling into the weekend, as we will get to. Brooks Lee was not alone in joining the Twins roster after tearing up AAA. Matt Wallner finally got his return ticket on Sunday, recalled from St. Paul to replace Austin Martin, who landed on the injured list with an oblique strain. This is a well-deserved promotion for Matt Wallner, who had batted .342 with an 1144 OPS, 12 home runs in 29 games at AAA since the start of June. The power, obviously, great to see. He's been mashing down there, but what's been most impressive and convincing to me within that is the way he's cut down on the strikeouts and improved his approach at the plate. And I think he really showcased those improvements right away on Sunday when he returned to the Twins lineup. He drew a 10-pitch walk in his first at-bat back, and then in his second at-bat, he rifled a 117-mile-per-hour single over the second baseman's head into right field. So great stuff. Great to see Wallner back in this loaded lineup and doing his thing. As Lee and Wallner made their way from St. Paul to Minneapolis, David Festa was unfortunately heading the opposite direction. The right-hander was sent back down to the minors on Friday following a rough welcome to the big leagues. He is replaced temporarily on the roster by Josh Winder, who's filling in the bullpen. It is expected that the Twins will activate Chris Paddock from the injured list to start on Monday after missing just the minimum 15 days with that right arm fatigue issue. On the bullpen depth front, a final note, Diego Castillo and Matt Bowman rejoined the organization on minor league deals, which I think is noteworthy because they both appeared for the Twins earlier this season before leaving the organization for a while. And also Zach Weiss, his rehab stint moved to Fort Myers, so he is progressing on his way back. The highlights of a 4-2 week in which the Twins once again won both their series. This offense is the story of the show, continuing to churn out runs with the luxury of Brooks Lee as a reinforcement, almost entirely negating the massive loss of Royce Lewis. Lee just came in and immediately started crushing, raking all over the field. Collected at least one hit in each of his first 5 major league games and is now batting .476 with 6 RBIs as a big leaguer. He hit his first home run on Saturday after launching 7 in 20 games at AAA. So, if the power can be there for Lee, he's going to be a true monster at the plate. Despite this dazzling debut from Brooks Lee, he could not steal the show from Jose Miranda, who set an expansion-era MLB record by notching hits in 12 straight at-bats. Jose Miranda went 5 for 5 on Thursday and 4 for 4 on Friday as part of that streak. For the week, he was 14 for 20 with 4 doubles and a homer. Locked in doesn't even begin to describe what we're seeing from Miranda here. He has struck out only twice in his past 44 plate appearances. A little bit short of qualifying for the batting title, but if he weren't, Miranda's .331 batting average would rank second in the major leagues behind Stephen Kwan. Fantastic to see. I mean, Miranda truly looks better than he did at his best in his rookie year. So he's not only come all the way back, but really seems to have reached a new level. He led the charge this past week for a lineup that is thriving from top to bottom right now. I cannot stop marveling at the quality and depth of this offensive unit. Even with Lewis unavailable, the Twins can plug Miranda's scorching bat in the heart of the order alongside Carlos Correa, who homered twice this past week and drove in 5 runs, and they don't miss a beat. Carlos Correa also on Sunday was named as the Twins All-Star representative, so that's cool to see. Byron Buxton, who typically finds himself, 6th or 7th, a little further down in the lineup, is hitting like a cleanup hitter type right now. He went 8 for 18 with a home run and 3 doubles last week. He's got his OPS up above 800, among the league leaders in center field. I believe among qualified center fielders, only Aaron Judge of the Yankees and Jarren Duran of the Red Sox have a higher mark right now. And even the Twins catchers have been heating up at the plate. That's been sort of the one break in the lineup for opposing pitchers lately, with both catchers slumping to a degree. But Ryan Jeffers and Christian Vasquez combined to go 10 for 23 with 2 doubles and 3 homers this past week, including Christian Vasquez delivering that stunning walk-off blast on Sunday against Josh Hader. You add in Lee and Wallner, who are currently sliding in near the bottom of the order. And yeah, there's just no relief for opposing pitchers right now. And we're seeing that play out in the results of these games. The Twins scored 12 runs in back-to-back games last week, including one that was shortened to 7 innings by rain, as I mentioned. For the week overall, they batted .344 as a team. They hit 15 doubles and 9 home runs. They continue to run that historic streak of games with a home run forward. That's still ongoing. Scored 43 runs in 6 games this past week. Twins had a solid showing against Tariq Skubal, who's perhaps the best pitcher in the league. They put up 3 runs in 6 innings against him in a victory, and they absolutely torched the Houston Astros pitching staff at Target Field. Josh Hader had a real tough weekend. Twins pitching was not as overpowering as the hitting last week, but there were some commendable performances to be found, including Bailey Ober, his 4th straight gem. On Thursday, he tossed 6 innings with 1 earned run and 8 strikeouts. Bailey Ober, a huge bright spot right now. He is pitching as well as we've ever seen him. Over these past 4 starts, a 35-5 strikeout to walk ratio. And 3 of, within those 4 games, his 3 highest swinging strike totals of the season. So he's just missing bats. He set a career high with 22 swings and misses in his start on Thursday. The bullpen for the Twins was largely very good. Relievers answering the call over and over again for the most part. Cole Sands, encouragingly, appears to have really rounded back into that strong early season form we saw from him. He struck out 5 over 3 scoreless innings last week. Sands has gone 7 straight appearances without allowing an earned run, and he has a 9-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio in that time frame. Josh Stalmont, another really big bright spot in this bullpen. He was reaching triple digits with his fastball on Sunday, logged his 18th appearance of the season, and he still continues to maintain a 0 ERA. He has not allowed an earned run all season. He's just been a huge find by this front office and a boon for this bullpen, which is pitching great right now. Sands and Stalmont combined to go with Yohan Duran, Griffin Jax, Jorge Alcala, and Caleb Thielbar to collectively allow 0 runs on 6 hits in 13 and 2/3 innings across 6 games last week for the Twins. So the bullpen, the relievers really continuing to be kind of unsung heroes, I think, in the Twins and their ability to rattle off these wins. They are holding down these leads and they are delivering a lot of clean outings. It really is just all clicking for the Twins right now. They've won 5 series in a row. They've won 7 of their past 8 series. Wednesday's 9-2 loss against Detroit last week was the only game in the last calendar month that the Twins have lost by more than 1 run. That is a team that's playing really, really good ball. And I thought that their performance this past weekend against a red-hot Astros team, which had won 12 of 14 coming in, was perhaps the most impressive we've seen from this team so far this season. And I think a really emphatic counter-argument against the knock that they can't step it up against quality competition. I know a lot of people aren't going to be believers until they see him do it against the Guardians. The Orioles, of course, they're not going to get another chance against the Yankees unless it's in the playoffs. But, the Astros are a good team that's been playing really well, and the Twins took it to them in this series. Turning to the lowlights of the week, while a majority of relievers, as mentioned, contributed clean outings for the Twins, the blemishes in the bullpen were noticeable. Cody Funderburk was knocked around for 5 earned runs in 3 innings across his 2 appearances, gave up a pair of home runs, and widened the team's deficits in those losing efforts on Wednesday and Friday. His ERA is up to 5.97 on the season. Josh Winder also got roughed up on Friday night in his return, his season debut for the Twins after replacing Paddock on the roster. Festa. He gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 5 hits in 2 innings of work. I can't imagine that the Twins will really be inclined to stick with Winder for much longer. He just hasn't shown much ability to be effective or stay healthy for multiple years now. I'm kind of surprised that they're just giving him this chance based on how he's looked of late. So he will presumably head back to the minors when the Twins activate Paddock on Monday. And I would guess that Winder's 40-man roster spot is very much at risk with Zach Weiss and Brock Stewart working their way back from the 60-day injured list. In a week where Brooks Lee made the initial transition from minors to majors look very easy, David Festa reminded us that in most cases that is far from true. He was clobbered by the Tigers on Wednesday night at Target Field, giving up 7 earned runs on 9 hits, including 3 homers in 5 innings. Festa was cruising along pretty well until the 3rd inning when everything sort of fell apart, culminating with a grand slam that broke the game open and was followed by a back-to-back homer, so digging the Twins a big hole there. Not the smoothest start of Festa's career, of course, in the majors, but from my view, it wasn't the most concerning debut either. I think if you look past all the hard contact, the 10.50 ERA in these 2 starts, he did show the ability to attack the zone and miss some bats. 6 strikeouts and 0 walks in that game on Wednesday, I think, is a silver lining, with all that hard contact, as mentioned, in the zone. Knowing that Festa, as we kind of talked about last week when he got the call, knowing that his sort of big drawback, his big hurdle to overcome in the minors has been control and keeping that walk rate in check, you almost wonder if maybe he made that a little too much of a focus and was a little too in the zone. I think he threw 70% strikes between these 2 starts, which is great, except, I think it's part of his game to be trying to get people to chase and get swings and misses out of the zone. So I do believe that going through this experience and heading back to St. Paul, he will know what he needs to work on back in AAA. Certainly not down and out on David Festa at all, based on what we've seen. Pablo Lopez's clunker on Friday night sort of falls into the same category for me. It was disappointing, but not overly concerning. He gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings in a loss to the Astros, but all 8 hits that Pablo allowed were singles, many of which were pretty soft, and they just kind of happened to be strung together. I get that the results are what they are. You know, Pablo Lopez's ERA is back over 5 as we approach the All-Star break, which is not great. But as long as he's throwing heat, keeping the ball in the park, and missing bats, I'm just really not worried. I think Pablo Lopez is still a number 1 starter. I'd be fairly confident matching up against any opponent. But to bolster that confidence, it would be nice to see him get into a sustained groove while eliminating these hiccups that seem to invariably come along every few starts. Trending storyline as we flip to a new week. For a second time in 10 days on Sunday, Carlos Correa appeared to dodge a major bullet after a scary-looking hit by pitch knocked him out of the game. X-rays on Correa's hand came back negative after the game, and he declared that he'll be in the lineup playing on Monday. Sure enough. And, you know, far be it from me to question that, because, you know, when the same events played out the previous week, we know that Carlos Correa did indeed return to the lineup the next day and, in fact, hit a home run. But I can't help wondering if it wouldn't make sense to give him a break, all things considered, even if he did avoid a major injury here. You know, the upcoming All-Star break, which comes after next week, would essentially give the Twins an opportunity to give Correa 2 weeks off while only missing 6 games. He's now taken 2 very painful-looking fastballs to the hand that required scans in a span of 2 weeks. And I think generally speaking, it couldn't hurt to get him off his feet for a little bit here at the midpoint of the season. He's been playing a lot. You know, there's no word of the foot injury from last year being an issue or anything like that. But Twins hitters, unfortunately, seem to be in harm's way every time they step to the plate, leading the league in hit by pitch by a fairly solid margin, I think. It goes without saying that having Correa at full strength for the stretch run and into October is critical. So personally, I'm on board with almost any precaution designed to protect him, especially when you see how Lee and Miranda are playing right now on the left side of the infield. But Correa clearly wants to play this coming week and next week at the All-Star game, which he has been announced as a participant in. And I'm guessing the Twins are inclined to oblige him on that. So maybe a moot point in this case, but I think my broader point is that, you know, this has the looks of a playoff-bound team with enough quality depth to sort of plan smartly for what's ahead and think about September and October and the decisions they're making now. So I would like to see the Twins making future conscious decisions with that eye toward the postseason, even if that means taking steps like a non-essential IL stint for Correa, or giving Paddock a little bit of extra time off beyond the minimum for this fatigue, or taking the conservative route here as they bring Lewis back from his latest injury. So far, they haven't really opted towards that, and I'm not going to blame the Twins for doing what they need to do to put the best team on the field and try to win every game, I guess. But I think there is a balance always, and this really is a team that should be thinking about October. And I think, you know, given the depth of their team and given the impact of Lee and what Miranda's doing right now, I do think the Twins can afford to play things safe somewhat. So we'll see, but I would expect that indeed Correa will avoid the injured list and will play this week leading up to the All-Star game. So good for him. A great honor and well-deserved for him to be named to that All-Star team. Looking ahead, as we always do, to close out at the next week for the Twins, the final week of the first half schedule, featuring a road trip that will take them through Chicago and San Francisco ahead of the All-Star break. Twins will be playing 3 against the White Sox, against whom they are 7-0 so far this season. And then they'll be facing a Giants team that's been pretty mediocre. Their record's been below 500 since May. They just lost 2 of 3 to the Guardians. Thanks a lot, Giants. The Twins starters for Monday and Sunday yet to be officially announced, but as mentioned, the indication seems to be that it's going to be Chris Paddock, activated from the injured list to refill that spot in the rotation. So if we assume that, the matchups for these coming series against the White Sox in Chicago, it'll be Paddock against Chris Flexen, Bailey Ober on Tuesday going against Eric Fetty, another righty, and Pablo Lopez going against Drew Thorpe on Wednesday. So 3 right-handed pitchers in that series for the White Sox. And then the Twins will face a couple lefties as things currently map out in San Francisco for the weekend. That'll be Kyle Harrison and Blake Snell on Friday and Sunday. with the righty Hayden Birdsong going on Saturday for the Giants. Twins will be countering them with Joe Ryan, Simeon Woods-Richardson, and again, if indications are correct, it'll be Chris Paddock. Maybe pitching that last game before the All-Star break. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like a bullpen game in that one, but we'll see how that shakes out. So another good week for the Twins, playing great ball here as we approach the midseason break. I will be heading to San Francisco next weekend to catch the Twins and Giants and check another ballpark off the list. So I'm very excited about that. And also hope you'll check my Twitter, Sunday night, Monday morning, because I have a little project, a little Joe Mauer related project that I'm excited to announce as we get ready to induct him into the Hall of Fame. So keep an eye out for that, please. Come on by twinsdaily.com, read our content, share your thoughts, start a blog. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk about this very fun, exciting Twins season here as the Twins playing good ball on a 92-win pace as we speak, struggling to make up any ground against those pesky Cleveland Guardians, but I think we're set up for a pretty good second half. So appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.